I don't have that up.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to La Nextrema. This is our NXT PLE post show here at BC Wrestle Pod. My name is Mikey El Jefe of BC Wrestle Pod, and of course, with me this evening is El Blanquito himself, the Pleat Father, Kiltman, who was in the building for this one. So I can't wait to ask him and chat with him about this one. And yep, go ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you because you know what is so important about today?
Was that?
It is our Twitch affiliate anniversary.
Oh, damn, you're right.
So, happy affiliation to us. Remember, if you are a Prime member, you can always go over to the Purple app on Twitch and subscribe to us for free. Give us that Bezos money. There's also a few other ways you can give us some money, specifically Ko-fi, and as well as also all of our merch, which you'll see links in chat later today.
Thank you for doing the intro. But
You're
yes,
welcome.
it makes my job a whole lot easier.
Shoot, you could be like, you'd be like, Kilt, do the intro. I'm like, I'm a little energetic. I literally missed doing this last week because I really wanted to do it because I was excited because there's so much to talk about this show. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's like what Kilt has said. We are here to talk about NXT's The Great American Bash. Yes, this aired 2 weeks ago, and while I was gone on vacation at Salt Lake City last week, but we are here because I want to talk about the show because it's an important one, as this is the first PLE for NXT now on the CW. Now that all their PLEs will be airing on the CW. And on top of that, we're also going to discuss a little bit about what happened last night on the July 7th edition of NXT because we are building up. We have about 6 weeks or so, but we are building to the next PLE for NXT, which is Heat Wave, which is going to be happening August 30th, which is going to be insane. So, yeah, Kilt did all the intro bit. Let's just get into it because we got lots to discuss. Dang, a 7-match card for PLE. I was just like, main roster, I need y'all to take notes.
Oh, they need to be scribing into stone right now. So far, the only great thing about main roster is freaking the brother promo by LA Knight, and I'm like, yes, I have to agree. There is so much that was in this event that was so great. Now, transportation was a little weird because this is the second week that they have been running their new ticket system used by which is pushed through via Universe by Ticketmaster, which the old way was better, you fucking idiots. Anywho, moving forward, this was interesting because there was two setups. There was outside and then there was inside. And then there was so cool. Outside got the in all honesty, as much fun as it was to be inside, I think outside got the better end of the deal because they got to interact with everyone who wasn't performing that night. They got
Mhm.
snack. You could go out, like if you were inside, you could still go out and get hot dogs and whatnot. Because Hank and Tank were hosting, and they were the grill masters, along with like along with Thea and a few other people. And I'm gonna complain about Thea later. Um, they did my girl dirty, or dad dirty, whatever. She's doing his whole dad thing. Um, and it was great. Like I almost didn't go inside because I got flagged down by Hank and Tank because they saw my jersey
I
and they're like,
love that.
"Oh, it's ostrich." I'm like, "Yes, it is." It's like we haven't seen anything, but we haven't really seen anyone buy anything. But there you go, you have one. I'm like, "Yes, I need the others. Give me more." If they weren't $100, I probably would buy them right now. And what sucks is like you look at the merch tent and like they don't have a lot of everybody's stuff. There is a new shirt I think that came out. It's for Hank Attack. It's like a retro thing, but whatever. Um, but yeah, they went all out for this. This was such a great production, and as we said, freaking main roster needs to take notice. They need to focus on what NXT is doing and build from that because their storytelling is better. Their freaking matches are looking a whole lot better. There's 7 matches in this PLE, and they are all bangers. Like, what it was not a bad match, really, that entire night. And it's like, give me more. Feed me and see more.
Yeah, Great American Bash did a really good job. Every match was really solid, ranging from good to fantastic. And yeah, let's just get into it. So we're gonna talk about the Great American Bash first, and then we'll get into last night's NXT. So we're gonna start off with the match that opened up Great American Bash, which was for the NXT Championship. So this, of course, is our NXT champion Tony D'Angelo taking on the challenger in Naraku. And again, the story going into this whole entire match has been interesting because Naraku ended up getting number one contendership after beating Mason Rook, thanks to some interference from Cam Hendricks during that match a few weeks back. And Tony D'Angelo not buying this whole entire nice guy act. And then on the go home angle, Tony D'Angelo got fireballed to the face. So that is, and Tony D'Angelo would be fighting with said band aids across his face during this match. And so that is how we got here. I'm not going to lie. I was very surprised to see this match open up the show. Um, Only because I know that this was a big main title bout. So I was expecting it to be towards the tail end of the card, but honestly, I was pretty okay with it opening up the show. I thought this was a really solid back and forth between Tony D'Angelo and Naraku. Again, this was a really nice first big feud for Naraku now that he has settled into NXT. Also, very surprised to see Tony D'Angelo beat Naraku clean here. I was expecting some shenanigans. I was expecting a stunt, but no, Tony was able to win. He beat Naraku clean. No shenanigans. No, you know, nefarious means to win. Solid bout. I don't really have I don't have too many complaints about this one.
This was like it was banger start to finish. I can't sit here and talk enough about how much fun this was. And I do love what they did with the matches because they did men's NXT title, women's Great American title, men's American title, women's NXT title. And the only thing that could have made this better is if they threw in the tag titles, and they brought the tag back to fucking NXT for the women. Anyway, moving on. So it was cool to see. It was probably hard for Tony, to stay as one-eyed the entire night because his bandage kept slipping. He kept having to readjust. And this was so banger. Like, it was shot after impact. This really set the tone for the entire night. It launched off on an amazing event, and I absolutely love everything that's going to happen with Naraku coming up because this didn't make him look weak. This made him look strong as hell, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah, as we would see, the last 2 weeks, it seems that Naraku is still going to be swimming around Tony D'Angelo for a little bit, which is great. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the NXT, TV episode portion of our show. But again, Tony D'Angelo, clean win over Naraku. And we move on into our second match of Great American Bash, which was for the Women's NXT North American Championship. Zarya defending her title against the former champion, Miss Tatum Paxley, in which Tatum is wanting a rematch for the title. Now, again, I really loved the story we got in here. Zarya beating Tatum, and then Tatum, goading Zarya into giving her a rematch for the title. And first and foremost, I gotta say, I love Tatum Paxley's choices of ring gears because she's always incorporating some sort of either pop culture or anime into this. And exactly that is what she did here, is that she was cosplaying as a character from the manga and anime Kakegurui, which love that. Um, but yeah, this was another fantastic match. I think Tatum did really well in kind of matching Zarya's intensity and keeping up with her. And Zarya, like, actually kind of having to take Tatum a little seriously was also really fun to, as well for that one. Um, Man, Zarya was brutal in that finish, though. I was like, damn, she really had to put Tatum down to retain this championship. But yeah, another great match. I think Tatum is another one where I don't know what's left for her to do here. So I don't know if they want to, there has been talks of her maybe possibly going to main roster here soon. But who knows? But again, this was a really fun and great first title defense for Zarya against, the person she won the title off of. And another match I don't have any notes on. I thought it was really solid work from both of these women.
NXT women's division continues to state exactly what women's wrestling is about. It's about being better than the men, showing them up, and constantly being phenomenal. Amazing moves, thrills like crazy. This was like there were points in time where I was scared for someone's safety. Um, uh, I will make mention about I forgot to mention this about commentary, but I'll go back to that later. Um, but this was so much fun. Like Zarya is dominant. As you said, what's going to go on with Tatum? She was used for Reina Vulcan's debut into the brand, formerly Madam Blackheart, whose first
Nikki
name.
Blackheart.
Thank you. I keep trying to say Kira Blackheart, and I'm like, no, that's wrong. No, the only person I know named Kira is our Dark Lady cosplay, and for the Horde. Anyway, but no, this was honestly, it was big impactful match with Tony and Naraku, big impactful a match with Zarya and Tatum. I don't know. It's like I'm sitting there like, what else can we do here to make this better?
Well, we didn't have to wait long to figure that out, right?
No,
Because
we
as soon
didn't.
as we got that match, this was
Oh,
this match was hilarious. So next up, our first non-title match of the evening, and a little bit of a grudge match, if you will, which saw Shiloh Hill taking on
technically,
Tristan Angels.
technically, it was a title match because it was to reclaim the Mr. NXT title.
That's very, very
Technically,
fair.
and you know what? Being technically correct is the best kind of correct.
Well, since I got actually by Kilt here, I'm gonna give him the point for that one because
Yes.
technically this was for a title, but not in a tradition and not in the traditional sense, as this was to reclaim the title of Mr. NXT for Shiloh Hill, but it was Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels. Again, they have been feuding for the last month and a half or so, and we had the Mr. NXT patch in a couple weeks ago, which led to having a series of matches after that. And here we are, Great American Bash. This match was fun to watch again. Shiloh has become really over with the crowd over the last couple of months, and I thoroughly enjoyed him. Tristan Angels is also annoying, but he's doing his job perfectly. The best part, well, my favorite part of this match is obviously when Tristan goes underneath the ring, and we literally have a scream-esque type of call-in scene where a cell phone is ringing underneath the ring, and Tristan goes to answer it, and Shiloh is the equivalent of us like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" Like, and then begins to choke Tristan out. Tristan gets out from under the ring, and Shiloh once again is choking him out. And Shiloh Hill is able to win and reclaim Mr. NXT titles. So this was just a fun match. This was the sport. I was sports entertained, as the kids say.
I was sports entertained.
It was.
This
I'll be
was
back.
okay.
Somebody's at my door.
Oh, okay, cool. I will yap. Because this was amazing. Like I legitimately love every minute of this because this is starting to give freaking Bray Wyatt Funhouse vibes, and I'm 100,000% for that. Um, like I absolutely love it. Ooh, sorry, distracted. Important conversation. Anywho, it was great. It like, and the cool part was yes, it was a pre-cut. Um, it was a pre-cut transition. Because obviously, they're not gonna. They had to, choke out Tristan under the thing, and then have Shiloh come in from behind him and choke him out. When after he got out, which was cool because they did a little bit of smoke and mirror with the lights and cutaways and such, and it was really good. I actually enjoyed it. Um, this is good. This is giving some spooky. We're gonna do some spooky dooky, funky shit with Shiloh, and I'm all 1,000% for it. I think we're gonna get our like a new version of the Playhouse, and I'm excited. I'm very excited.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and this was definitely a well-earned victory for Shiloh. And we'll talk a little bit more when we get to the NXT episode, but it seems that him and Tristan are not quite done with each other yet. So I'm here for more shenanigans. So after this match, we get into the fourth match of the card, which was another really fun one underneath the speed rules. So this, of course, is our for the for the WWE Women's Speed Championship. This is, of course, Ren Sinclair represented the Ren QCC, taking on Birthrights Ariana Grace. Ariana Grace got this opportunity for this match by winning the number one contenders tournament, and thus Ren QCC would be in full effect this evening because with Ren defending her title and Kendall hoping to vie for the NXT Women's Championship, Kendall had to show up and show out, and that is exactly what she did. Birthright tried to cause some interference, but Ren was able to keep up and not allow them to get in her way. And yeah, Ren Sinclair hits her finisher, makes Ariana tap, and that's all she wrote for this one. And Ren Sinclair is still your WWE Women's Speed Champion.
I absolutely loved seeing Ren just pop Charlie right in the mouth. And one of the funny things is whenever I see Charlie walking around with the Birthright, it looks like he's just there because he kind of has to be. He's not like really into it like the rest of the team.
He feels so out of place still. And we've
He
talked
is
about this before.
It's like, put you back on the charger. It was just, it's like, when he's in the ring, he's serious and getting shit done, but it's like, they really need to rename white privilege to something else because holy shit. Like, I hate this team's name. Like, beyond.
Birthright, yeah, NXT and WWE in general. I'm like, I need to know how we're coming up with these names because between Birthright and Nicole, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Now, we'll get into my next thought process later, towards the end, because I just remember something and I wanted to go over it. But this was a good match. This was like, I don't know, like I can't say anything negative about this match because it was fun, it was fast paced, it was a good setup. I'm glad that Ren was able to maintain, and now Ren QCC it still has the speed tourney. You know what they should do? They should give Ren and Ren and Kendall the freaking women's tag
Mhm.
champions, so that way they can be double champions for like I don't know a small bit, just for a little bit, and then give it back. I mean, look at freaking Lola. She's been the mixed tag champion for how long now?
Trying to think. For a hot minute, at
It's been
least.
at least 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, about a few months at least.
Yeah, so it's like, and then Lola was a double champ, or is a double champ at least up until into this night. But that's spoilers, darling. If we
For
can
reals.
continue before I spoil anything else.
Alrighty, so Ren is able to retain the championship, and we go into our next match, which this one was just a show up and a show out of Saquon Sugars and what he can actually do when he is given time. So
I want
this was
to
actually
say
exactly. Let's talk about this entrance. I was just like, he has
fuck
his
yeah.
entrance, Saquon's entrance theme has a whole entire producer tag, like most hip hop songs now, and I love it. It's just like, I want to see Saquon.
Saquon. I'm like, yes. Okay. Like I want to know what input he gave for his intro, because this was fire. Like, I was grooving, I was feeling it. I'm like, come on, give me more. My fellow DC man, give me some more.
I loved it. It was the entrance was fun, and now that we are making sure that Saquon is a single star, but I have to say this was probably this was in my top like two matches of the evening. Not only because I love seeing Saquon do what we knew he was capable of, and now that he's a single star, his offense is very innovative. But honestly, I also thought that Dion Lennox did really solid in this match too, and they had a really great back and forth. And it was really great to see Saquon pick up the win here. But it seems that he's not quite done with Dark State, because immediately after he gets attacked by them, and we'll talk about it. But he's gonna continue to fight Dark State, but he's going to need to find some friend first, which we're gonna talk about a little bit later. But this was one of my favorite. This was in my top two of the night, honestly, easily. This was really good. I think both of them did great, and I think this was a really good showcase of what Saquon can do. So yeah, I really love this match.
Pardon me. Anyway, yeah, then I have no notes. I have no continuous notes. Let us move to the next.
So we go from one match that was really awesome to watch to another one, and I'm not gonna lie, this was my favorite match of the entire night. Like, holy hell, man! Talk about when you talk about when two opponents know each other and have been together for so long, and they have been able to develop wrestling together and against each other. This was a match, man. This was for the NXT North American Championship. Miles Bourne defending the title against his longtime friend and Tavion Heights. This match ruled, man. The intensity was there. They know each other very well. They were able to hit a little bit harder than most WWE wrestlers can, unless they come from Japan. This was just a pure wrestling clinic, and this was amazing to watch. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite match of the entire night. It was really solid back and forth, really good in-ring psychology. You felt the friendship here between the two of them, like being tested, and heat to the fire, so to speak. My goodness, I really thoroughly enjoyed this match. Miles Bourne retains, but the camaraderie afterwards, what a match, man. Holy hell. The crowd were on their feet for this one.
This was it was insane. This was such a good. I don't know how much more I can say about this, because holy crap, like This was nailed. This was like edge of your seat watching. Like I don't know what else I could say to this outside of holy crap. Can we see it again? Can we do it again? Like I I love everything about this. This was fun. This was so much. I have no negativity here outside of what we'll talk about later when we talk about the show, the next 2 weeks or the previous 2 weeks. Blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about the rest of this later, but holy crap, this was good.
It really was. And then it just kept that energy going into our main event of the evening, the NXT Women's Championship main event at Great American Bash. Lola Vice defending the title against challenger Kendall Gray. Kendall winning a number one contenders match to get this opportunity. Another fantastic match. Lola is always fantastic. Kendall is the new it girl for NXT, and the crowd really was behind her at this one. This was also a really another match, and you know what? I'm not mad at it though. Kendall is your new NXT Women's Champion, man. Like, well deserved. Homegirl has been putting in and evolve, and she has, got the rocket strapped to her. But man, this was a fantastic moment for her. So now both members of Ren QCC are champions, and yeah, this was such a fun main event. Lola absolutely doing her best here. Kendall giving it her all too. Made a fantastic back and forth. Unfortunately, Lola could not keep Kendall down, and Kendall was able to capitalize and is the new NXT Women's Champion. This was a really fun main event, and Kendall celebrating with Ren was really fun as the show went off the air, at least for us watching at home.
This was so phenomenal. I hate the only thing I hate about this match is I love both these wrestlers, and I knew for a fact I could not get. Obviously, you can't have both of them win. God, this was so cool. This was so good. Like I cannot say enough positive things about this match. Like again, the only negative thing I could say is they both could not win because I love both of these. It was hard hitting, it was high flying, it was so much back and forth. It was nail biting. It was like so many near misses, so many potential wins. It was one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm like, can we keep going? Can we keep going? Can we keep going? Like, I want this. Like, I want more. I want all the things. Give me all the things. I require it all. Please, please, please.
Well, it's like what you said earlier too. NXT's women's division, and I've been saying this for a while too. Even when the first iteration of the show was me and Andrew and Will, like NXT's women's division is really stacked with a lot of potential stars. And I think that it is probably one of the best booked women's division across the major US televised programming that we have. Um, it's really fantastic stuff, and this is an example, and also Zarya and Tatum, like, this women's division in NXT is nothing to be scoffed at or, messed with because we get phenomenal matches like this, and this was one of those cases. But yeah, Kendall is our new NXT Women's Champion, and now she is starting to feel the weight of the champion after these last 2 weeks. So let's get into this, shall we? So we're going to talk about last night's episode of NXT briefly, kind of go over some of the big things that have happened. So that way because we will also be going dark next week, and then we'll be back with, our regular scheduled programming when I come back. But let's talk about last night's episode, because last night's episode had some big stuff. Now, granted, last night's episode was a pre-taped episode, as last week they did a double taping for NXT in order for, people to have the week off and stuff like that. So there were a couple things that happened this show, right? So of course we opened up with Callie Armstrong, cutting a promo. and then Lola and Kalani interrupting, kind of setting up those three to be the ones circling around Kendall for, a shot at the NXT Women's Championship, which in our, which we would, which we're getting a triple threat next week to figure out who becomes number one contender. What I'm assuming will be the one to face Kendall for the title, probably a lot sooner than I think, because Heatwave is not until August 30th, so we have a very long time to get there. So should be interesting. Some other things in terms of match wise happening. We have Dorian Von Dukes and Sean Legacy as new number one contenders for the NXT tag title. So they will be getting that match next Tuesday against the Vanity Project boys. We also,
Boo.
yeah, so I'm just like, and it also seems that OTM and Birthright might be fighting for a little bit, which could be interesting. Maybe, hopefully, we shall
Okay,
see.
I want to pause for a moment on OTM
Uh-huh.
because what's his name? Oh God, I always
Bronco, Bronco Nima is part of AAA's Perros del Mal down in Mexico, which is very interesting.
yeah. I'm like, okay. I don't like. I love OTM. They got my. I'm right there with them. But my problem is that's going to be a lot for him to to go back and forth and stick. And it's going to be a lot of storyline that it's going to get kind of confusing and somewhat bled through. And that's the one thing that frustrates me about that, because it's like I love him as on
As part of
OTM.
OTM and NXT.
And it's like, but I want him to be on AAA because I know he'll do amazing. But the problem is there's storyline that needs to be finished. Also, fuck Birthright.
So yeah, so that was one match. We also had Keanu Carver destroy Hank. No, Hank.
So
Hank?
Keanu Carver pushed Hank off the stage during the cookout.
Mm-hmm. For Great American Bash.
Great American Bash. Hank wanted his lick back, or Tank wanted his lick back for Hank. So that's what got this match. That match was phenomenal. Like, holy crap, was that good? Like, there was so many it was meaty man slapping man meat power. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. And I admit I'm so upset that my belly bandit buddy that I absolutely love now. And this is what okay, so I want to go slightly back to what I said earlier about interacting with Hank and Tank, because they were halfway across the freaking parking lot, and I was kind of hidden behind production and a couple tarps and waiting in line to go in. And they still saw me, came over, interacted with me, had to saw a little girl with a sign, had to interact with her, and then interact with a couple of other fans, and went back to the party, and were amazing. That's what attracted me to them. It's the crowd interaction. It's not like your standard, oh, cool, thank you for supporting us and blah blah blah. No, it's getting in there and just like kind of like literally becoming almost friends with the crowd, almost like cheering on the crowd in their own way. And it's just like it's such, I just love that. And that match with Keanu Carver was phenomenal. I loved it. I want more of it. I want more Hank and Tank in general. Please keep them on my screen. I hope Hank is okay, and I hope Tank isn't injured. But with the way that went, I think probably I won't have them on screen outside of like vignettes, probably.
Right.
Ooh.
So, in terms of other matches that happened, we also had a women's North American Fatal 4-Way #1 contendership, in which we saw Layla Diggs come out the victor as she was facing Izzy Dame, Lizzie Rain, and Thea Hale for this one.
They
Though
stole my girl.
I know, but it seems that Thea is going to be busy too, because Thea is also participating over in TNA for their Knockouts Television Championship tournament to
I
be
did see
crowned the
that.
inaugural TNA Knockouts. And so she and Wendy Chu are representing NXT and Evolve in that tournament. So that should be very interesting as well.
I'm excited.
We also got Nico Vance defeating Shiloh Hill thanks to Tristan Angels coming in and costing Shiloh the match. And also, we're going to talk about, and then Sean Spears coming out hitting Nico with the chair. The chairmaster is back. And then Kendall Gray defeating the low-key legend Natty to retain the championship.
Sorry. You just went quiet all of a sudden, and it kind of threw me.
My bad.
It's like I hear voice. I heard the background voice, and then I'm sitting there. I'm like, kind of like mostly mumbling to myself because that's what I do a lot. Because the bitch deserved it, fucker. But yeah, the low key legend got squashed. And the funny thing was, Ren tried to protect. Basically tried to keep
Nikita and Carmen from interfering.
And he basically was getting trounced on it. And here comes Lola. I'm like, yes, mommy, come on.
So
that was a good match.
Yeah, Kendall retains, and of course, Lola, Callie, and Kalani are kind of swarming around Kendall. We also saw Jada come out and tell Natty that it's not over between her and Natty. Some other stuff that happened like backstage, Saquon is not done with Dark State, but he is going to have to look for some friends to help out because he's not dumb. The numbers gain is going to be too much for him. Also, Mason Rook is still not done with Cam Hendricks because, Cam is spreading lies, and it seems that Mason and Tate Wilder might be friends, like in the kayfabe universe here of NXT television. It seems that Miles and Tavion are going to have beef with the Vanity Project boys, especially Jackson Drake and them, so that's interesting. We talked about it earlier, Nikki Blackheart is now officially part of this roster. Don't like her wrestler name, but whatever, it is what it is at this point. And yeah, we're setting up some stuff for the next couple of weeks. We have, like I said, Dorian Von Dukes and Sean Legacy are tag team #1 contenders. Layla Diggs is the contender to the Women's North American. We're getting a triple threat #1 contenders match next week to determine who will be next to face Kendall for the title. So yeah, NXT is slowly building out the rest of their summer. And like I said before, the next time that NXT will be here with the PLE is August 30th, which is for Heatwave, which is interesting because it is like a double show because AAA is also having a show in tandem with Heatwave. So it's 2 shows for the price of 1, I guess, which is also, I love NXT, but I'm tired of WWE always putting NXT up against the AEW shows because that August 30th date is the same day as AEW's All In at Wembley Stadium in London. I'm like, why must you give me like 18 shows to watch in one day?
Because they don't like us and they want us to suffer and they want us to only watch their product, even though, in all honesty, if it wasn't for NXT and AAA, WWE would be shit.
It really would be. Anyways, that has been our Great American Bash post show. Again, for the first PLE on CW, great stuff. I'm not even going front. Like, this was really strong outing for NXT. When I did the report card, I gave it a B+. I thought it was a very solid show, really good wrestling. There wasn't a match on here that I thought was horribly bad. And I'm looking forward to Heatwave coming up in August. But Kilt and I are going to get up on out of here. But before we do, let me tell you what we have for the rest of this week. Later on, about 8 p.m. Pacific, Will and I will be here to do a double feature for CMLL. So we're going to talk about some good lucha libre action from Arena Mexico for CMLL. Then on Friday, I have Radio Free Will and myself. We will be breaking down TNA's Slammiversary pay per view, as well as talk about the recent departures and re signings of the company, and also break down this Knockouts television tournament with 16 participants. So it's going to be fun to talk about. But from all of us here at BC Wrestle Pod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I will see you in a matter of 2 hours for CMLL. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.
Why did that ending feel like longer?